Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, coming to you live from Pataskala, Ohio at Southwind Stables, doing our question of the day video here. Today's question comes to us from Elena, and Elena says, my horse has been pretty relaxed and responsive in the arena, but I've been doing some hunter paces and things of that nature lately, and he becomes a totally different horse. I don't want to beat groundwork to death. Thank you, Elena, for that. I don't want to beat groundwork to death, and I could be there all day doing it just to try to relax him with all of the obstacles we're faced with. Other horses, fall weather, etc. I get the heavy breathing, short little sneezes, anxious chomping, and hanging in my hands. Do you have any tips to try to encourage him to relax while outside of the arena? Well, I'll tell you what, Elena, I've got some tips for this, and actually I'm out on the trail today. There's a couple of us out here, and we've got a horse that's been exhibiting some anxiety, so I'm really happy to have your question handy for us today. So a couple of the things that we'll deal with when we're talking about the heavy sneezing and the chomping of the bit and the lugging on our hands, to me, that's telling us that we're trying to hold our horse back with two reins, which is just going to increase the anxiety, all right? We were talking actually earlier about how the inside aids generally influence the energy and the emotional condition of the horse. The outside aids generally influence the physical condition of the horse, and when we're hauling on two reins, or when we're holding two reins, we tend to amplify things. So if we're trying to hold back an anxious horse, just like you're experiencing, we're going to just increase and amplify the anxiety. So the best idea is to help break that horse apart, kind of hindquarters, forequarters, bending, getting them moving rather than trying to hold them back, and working through some of that anxiety. What you're talking about, what you've written in about, is a horse that wants to move, that's feeling very restricted, okay? So one of my favorite exercises to help a horse with that, if we're out in the world, is a little exercise here that Amy's going to show us. I'm going to turn the camera around here. Okay, so here we've got Amy riding on Indy, and Indy was standing quiet, and then she started pawing, and now she's got a little bit of stage fright. So Amy's going to ride Indy toward one of these trees out here, and she's going to show us what happens with this little exercise here. So as she comes up to the tree, and I'm going to try to follow along with the camera here so that we can best see what's taking place. As she comes up to the tree, she's going to offer her near rein toward the tree, creating a bend in her horse. As the horse goes around, the tree itself is kind of increasing the bend until the shoulder starts to come through. A little difficult to see, so I'm going to try to change angles so you can see how this is working. So as we go through, you can see how our horse bends around the tree, tries to kind of avoid hitting the tree, so she shifts her balance back. And when she does that, then the front end is able to come through. So what we'll see she's not necessarily doing is encouraging forward. We don't need to in this case, because the horses we're talking about with this anxiety outside of the arena, they're going to have plenty of forward. It's about focusing the mind. We see right there how the horse started to relax a little bit more into that. She keeps her bending toward the tree, and then she's going to keep that rein open. We see how the shoulder comes through. Okay? So what we'll do, once we've got this idea taking place, we might ricochet around. We decided to film in this little grove here because we've got multiple trees to bounce off of. So whenever you're ready there, Amy, yeah, we'll go hunting for another tree. So right there, it becomes a little bit more of an obstacle with the scrub growing there. Good. And make sure that we give away that outside rein as much as possible. This is an exercise we were just working on with Amy and Indy, because Indy can be a little bit of a firecracker out here. It's one of her first big rides outside. And we see right there we're kind of stuck in a little spot as we decide to take a poo halfway through the exercise, and that's okay. Now the question would be, how long, how much, how often are we going to do this? And my kind of standard answer is always until. The idea of this exercise is that we allow the ecosystem to help our horse to relax. Riding outside of the arena is a different ecosystem. The horse can learn how to be okay inside the arena, but it's when we get out into that different ecosystem that they become upset. So we say basically, look, all of these things that you can see out here are great opportunities, there we go, are great opportunities to exercise your mind. If we're holding on two reins too much, we're going to feel the horses just increasing in their anxiety rather than letting down and relaxing. So we see how Amy's trying really hard to give away that outside rein. I like this bigger tree here. This was a good choice. There. And then the horse's front end comes through. So again, the tree is helping the horse rather than Amy's aids necessarily. We're just keeping the bend there until the horse comes through on her own. So this is going to help our horse to have to think about their balance, to have to think about their ecosystem, their environment. There. And rather than us having to hold on to them, they start developing the relaxation. They start owning the relaxation. So that was great. Thank you, Amy. So we'll get this turned back around here. So using a tree like this, it doesn't have to be a tree, right? You could use the side of a building. You could use a boulder. You could use a big bunch of scrub or the bank of a creek or something like that. You can use anything to work with this exercise. And once you've got the feel of it, kind of moving the horse's haunches over, opening the shoulders up, once you've got the feel of it, honestly, you could do it around a blade of grass if you needed to in that moment. Because I know there's sometimes, like Elena was talking about in her question, the hunter paces. She might find herself in a field, in a situation where it's just not possible. There's no trees around, right? So she might just have to do that out in the middle of the field. But we're not going to try to hold that horse back with two reins because that's just going to amplify, all right? So we're only going to be working one rein at a time until the horse proves relaxation. Now, another thought about this, Elena mentioned that her horse is anxious outside, not yet quiet on the trail. I wouldn't necessarily be taking that horse to a hunter pace or say fox hunting or any type of situation where it's a mass herd of horses going at whatever pace or whatever clip. I don't even particularly like to trail ride with large groups until a horse is really mentally with me. Okay? And if I was with a group and my horse was anxious, I'd probably be leaving the group anyway to work on exercises similar to what we just talked about and what Amy and Indy just showed you right here. So hopefully that's going to be helpful to you, Elena, and to anybody else who might have this challenge here with your horses, trying to help them get a little bit more emotionally fit out there on the trail or in the real world, wherever we happen to be. So if you found this helpful, please give us a comment, give us a like, give us a share. If you've got some friends that might need this insider information, please tag them in the comment section below this video. And let's see, question of the day. I always do a question of the day at the end of these videos. Amy doesn't know it yet, but she gets to ask the question of the day. And I'm going to turn it around. She's giving me the deer in the headlights look. Question of the day for the audience to answer. Doesn't matter what it is.
How many of you have ever tried Western Dressage?
There you go. Okay. Amy wants to know how many of you have tried Western Dressage. Go ahead, give us your answer in the comment section below. I'm going to sign out here, and Amy's probably going to kick my ass right now. Tune in next time, guys. You keep asking your questions. I'll keep talking about horses.